44 billion euros for Poland's security. It sounds really good, just like Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk's announcement. Over 80% of the SAFE programme will be spent on the Polish arms industry. As always, the Prime Minister may certainly be believed. It is not without reason that German Vice-Chancellor and Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil came to Poland to inspect, among other things, the German-French Airbus plant. Important visit of Vice-Chancellor Lars Klingbeil to Airbus in Warsaw. With around 1,000 employees in Poland and a number of important contracts like the A220 for LOT, Airbus continues to expand. With the huge investments in European defence, including the 150 billion euro SAFE programme, from which Poland receives almost 44 billion, companies like Airbus will have a crucial role to play in the build-up of a stronger European defence industrial base. Linking the visit to the SAFE programme is crucial here, because the Polish finance minister announced after a meeting with his German counterpart, this period of European inaction has come to an end. The new initiatives in which we are participating together with Germany are very clear proof of this. Together, we are taking responsibility for economic recovery in Europe. Unfortunately, we have already seen an example of Donald Tusk's economic recovery of Poland in the context of LOT Airlines, including Airbus. These dreams of law and justice, they sound nice, for example, that LOT and Polish aviation in general should be truly leading airlines in Europe. Only I had to do it, break this chain of impossibility and finalise the purchase of Airbuses for LOT on a gigantic scale. If, according to Tusk, it is impossible to make LOT a serious player in Europe, is it possible to do so with the Polish arms industry? Only someone very naive, someone truly very naive, could think that this EU loan is being launched in order to pump money into the Polish defence industry, build its production capacity and create real competition for the German industry, which needs markets and needs these billions in order to pump them into the German economy. One thing is certain, we will definitely not be spending money from the SAFE programme in the United States and South Korea, that is, countries where Poland has already made military purchases. Contractors and subcontractors participating in contracts carried out on a cooperative basis under SAFE must therefore have their registered office and management structures in the European Union, in the member states of the European Free Trade Association belonging to the European Economic Area, or in Ukraine. We are clear that we need to spend money more effectively and that we need to rely on spending more heavily in Europe at this point. We discussed the security of financing, defence financing and mechanisms that are already in place, such as SAFE. The question is, why hold Polish-German consultations if the money from SAFE is to be spent mostly in Poland? The German Gauleiter is coming to Poland to tell the Polish finance minister what we will spend the money on and where to make sure that the money goes to Rheinmetall, because the German company Rheinmetall will be one of the main beneficiaries of the SAFE programme spending. Order must prevail, yes. No wonder the information about what the SAFE money will be spent on is classified. What is troubling is that Donald Tusk decided to keep all these tenders secret. He kept secret what the money is to be spent on. The Romanians, who are also a frontline nation, are very transparent with their citizens about what the money is to be spent on. Even members of the Sejm's National Defence Committee do not know this. A copy of the application sent by Poland to the European Commission was sent to the Polish Sejm. The several hundred-page application was sent in English, just 2 days before the meeting of the Sejm's National Defence Committee. If we have 2 days before the committee meeting, it is going to be a fictitious control, a fictitious verification of what the money is going to be spent on. There is no Polish version, and there never has been. They do not plan ever to create one, and it is secret because it is better that no one knows what we are going to borrow several dozen billion zlotys for. The issue of spending money from SAFE will be one of the items on the agenda of the National Security Council meeting, convened by President Karol Nawrocki for February the 11th. Polish President Karol Nawrocki has convened a meeting of the National Security Council, which will take place on February the 11th at 2 p.m. 3 topics will be discussed: the loan taken out by the government for the implementation of the SAFE programme, Poland's invitation to the Peace Council, actions taken by state authorities to clarify all circumstances surrounding the Eastern social and business contacts of Sejm Marshal Włodzimierz Czarzasty. For some, where and how the money from the SAFE programme will be spent is important. For others, as in the case of the so-called Iron Dome, that is, the German idea for protecting European skies, it does not matter much. I don't mind at all, just so as there is no doubt that Germany was the main initiator of this initiative. Does Germany earn money when it sells its equipment to someone? Yes. Well, if Germany earns money, everything is fine. Poland, on the other hand, will be paying off the loan until 2070.
It seems that Epstein's Island sparked the imagination of Donald Tusk. The Polish Prime Minister has announced the establishment of a commission that will allegedly investigate Polish connections to the celebrity pedophile. At least that is what Tusk himself claims. I will ask both prosecutors and special services to conduct a very detailed, quick, and thorough analysis of every document currently available in the public domain, file by file. If necessary, we will also ask the American side to provide access to those documents and files that have not been disclosed and may concern possible Polish victims or other Polish traces. For now, these are vague statements. It is unclear what powers the commission would have, how it would prosecute the guilty parties, and what exactly it would investigate. But is this really about explanations, or is the real goal something else entirely? Suddenly, Donald Tusk appears on a white horse, announcing an international investigation. The Polish Prime Minister is the first to jump on the bandwagon, even though the Polish connections are very tenuous. Why is he doing this? Pedophilia is a crime, a disgusting one, but it is also disgusting to use it for political gain. Has Tusk once again become Berlin's tool to attack Donald Trump? Everything points to this, because Donald for Deutschland Tusk cannot have worse relations with Donald Trump than he already does. He has destroyed them completely. With such gestures towards the American leader and such baseless accusations. Trump lied several times a day. He turned out to be a Russian agent, Putin's man, and it was obvious for 4 years. Now Donald Trump is once again the target of another attack, and the case of a pedophile harming children is being used as a pretext for the attack. And once again, the leader of the Civic Coalition has come to the fore. If it were anyone other than Donald Tusk, one could believe in sincere intentions. But Donald Tusk is one of the most cynical politicians. We all remember very well how Donald Tusk wanted to fight pedophiles, castrate them. And what came of it? Nothing. Just a few months ago, he appointed Struzhik's Russian commission, only to quietly shut it down at night without a report. And it will be the same now. This cynical politician is capable of playing politics, even on the tragedies of children. In the United States, the left liberal hate machine has already started up against Trump for his alleged ties to the Epstein pedophile case. However, the haters did not take into account an important detail. If there were any documents in the Epstein case files that could compromise Donald Trump, we would certainly have found out about them last year at the latest, during the election campaign, when the American political and media establishment did everything, literally everything, to torpedo Trump's candidacy. Well, the Epstein file was not declassified by Barack Obama or Joe Biden, but by Donald Trump. They say Trump is mentioned 1,000 times. It's Trump's business. It's nonsense when you see how he is mentioned, in what context. And so this instrumental use of information, this reality ceases to have meaning and becomes a free creation in the hands of the media in the broad sense, which has ceased to be the media, that is, an intermediary, and has become an extension of this power, this establishment. The average person is unable to figure it out and is easily prey to the dominant propaganda. Donald Tusk, with the help of his commission, is dragging Poland into a very dangerous game because, according to many experts, the Epstein pedophile scandal may have been a secret operation by the Kremlin from the very beginning. There is a high probability that this was an operation by the Russian secret services because it is typical of the Russian secret services, formerly the KGB, now the FSB, GRU, and SWR, to create a situation in which one person collects dirt on such individuals, and then the Russian services use this dirt to blackmail them. Without a doubt, everything that is happening around the Epstein scandal is very convenient for Putin, and anyone who accepts the narrative that is convenient for the Kremlin jeopardizes the alliance with America, which is the basis of security in the region.
Last night, Russia launched a massive attack on Ukraine. The targets included Kyiv and Kharkiv, and the strikes targeted energy infrastructure. The attack took place despite the announcement of a week-long pause in the bombing of cities. Russia's nighttime attack was one of the heaviest in recent weeks. Hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles struck Ukraine. The main targets were energy and civilian infrastructure. Power and heating were cut off in many districts of Kyiv. Residents once again spent the night in shelters. Many did not return to their homes at all because of the low temperatures. For civilians in Ukraine, this is another night of fear and further proof that Russian attacks do not spare critical infrastructure, despite promises to do so. Where are these talks? They said they had agreed on negotiations, that there would be some kind of ceasefire, but it never happened. It's not coming, and it's not here now. This is the mood in Ukrainian cities. The attack took place despite agreements on a week-long suspension of shelling of energy infrastructure, which is crucial for the functioning of the state and the survival of civilians in the middle of winter. The Russians have once again disregarded the efforts of the American side. There was a clear request from the President of the United States to refrain from striking energy facilities and critical infrastructure. They knew this at the time of the meeting between our negotiating teams. This could be crucial for the upcoming talks in the United Arab Emirates, where delegations from Washington and Moscow are to meet tomorrow. All the more so because the United States President personally announced the suspension of attacks.
I did call up President Putin and he's agreed, he's put it out to. And I asked him if he wouldn't shoot for a period of 1 week, no missiles going into Kiev or any other towns, and he's agreed to do it, so it's something.
This truce could have been a test by the Americans to determine unequivocally whether the Kremlin is serious about peace or just playing a game of appearances.
I'm absolutely sure that the Americans will have noticed. They see what happened, they will hear this, they will take this also what it is. And that is an attack, again, on innocent civilians, on civilian infrastructure, which I think is unacceptable. And this has nothing to do with winning a war or fighting a war, which, as I said, in itself was unprovoked, starting on the 24th of February 2022. But this is creating chaos.
This chaos has one goal: to wear down the Ukrainians, to force them to surrender and make concessions. The Ukrainian energy sector is on the verge of collapse.
We do everything possible, but as you can see, we need break. We need some time to recover what is destroyed for the last 3 months. That's why I think that energy ceasefire is extremely important for us to recover partly and avoid any tragic consequences because of no power supply.
Despite diplomatic overtures, Washington is working to limit funding for the Kremlin. Donald Trump announced that after talks with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he had secured a key declaration to change the source of oil imports. This declaration has not been officially confirmed by Delhi, and the Kremlin denies that such arrangements have been made. For now, the Indian government is only talking about strengthening trade cooperation with the United States. The trade agreement with the United States is the best we have ever concluded. It is an agreement that benefits every Indian citizen and heralds a bright and stable future. Today's attack shows that Russia is testing the limits both of Ukraine's defenses and the West's determination. As revealed by Western media, for 2 months the European Union and the United States have been discussing with Kyiv the establishment of security guarantees for Ukraine. The negotiated agreement is to stipulate that in the event of Russia violating the future truce, the Allied forces, including the Americans and Europeans, will be ready for military intervention, including an attack on Russia.
Winter sports fans have 3 more days to wait for the Winter Olympics. The official opening ceremony of the Games will take place on Friday, but the competition will begin on Thursday with curling and hockey, among other events. This year, the Games are being hosted by Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo. Just a few days ago, there were serious concerns about a lack of snow, but today, the Italian Dolomites are covered in an excess of snow. All work on the final preparations for the start of the Games has been seriously slowed down, but the Cortina authorities have sent all available personnel and equipment to clear the snow. Snow has covered the entire town. Just a few days earlier, the International Ski and Snowboard Federation expressed concerns about the level of snow cover during the competition.
We're doing Winter Olympics, so it's nice to have a little snow around rather than just everything green. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
I hope that the roads are fine so we can get to the track, but otherwise I think it's going to be fun because we're all used to the snow as winter athletes, so I think it should be fine.
The event director assures the Games are not in jeopardy.
we are on track and what we were planning. We know there are, in any edition of the games, there are tickets sold during the games. We have, for example, hockey. People are waiting to, from quarterfinals on, who is going to be there, and that's normal. So we're monitoring. We have a full house at the opening ceremony. We're working on some sessions, but in general, we are very happy with ticket sales.
Meanwhile, the opening ceremony of the 145th session of the International Olympic Committee was held at La Scala in Milan, attended by state authorities and the most prominent Olympians from around the world. IOC President Christy Coventry expressed her hope that the Games would be unforgettable.
The athletes cannot wait. They are so excited. The first athletes are moving into the villages across Italy, and they have a special sparkle in their eye. You can feel the anticipation, but you can feel the excitement.
Italian President Sergio Mattarella has called for the traditional Olympic truce, meaning a cessation of all fighting for the duration of the sporting competition. With unwavering determination, we call for the observance of the Olympic truce throughout the world and for the unarmed power of sport to silence all weapons. Sport has enormous power, which we believe will lead to peace and mutual respect. The competition in Italy will be the 25th edition of the Winter Olympic Games. Athletes will compete for 116 medals, a record number for the Winter Games.